Happy Devils Wednesday. This is the Woo Report, episode 10, Matter of Execution. I am your host, Sam Woo, talking to you live from my studio in Asbury, New Jersey. Welcome, Devils fans around the world. We've had some pretty intense podcasts, live podcasts, here on the Let's Go Devils podcast network, all powered by Nova Product Design from Primetime Radio. So this is the Woo Report, titled Matter of Execution. Devils lose yesterday in heartbreaking fashion, as per usual, same old Devils. But look, let's try to break down what happened yesterday afternoon. I was with the in-laws, the one day off, of course. Devils head coach John Hines gets relieved of his duties. I'm not going to say the word fired because I actually like the guy. So he's relieved of his duties, and assistant coach, now interim head coach Elaine Nazardine, takes over the bench. Some of the comments that came out yesterday from Devils fans, like this is going to get any better, with a lot of sarcasm. It just got worse, this and that. So let's go back to the press conference, the presser that GM Ray Shuro had yesterday. You can hear Amanda Stein and a few others, Matt Lachlan and all that. They were asking questions. Quite frankly, I thought they were kind of softball questions, but I did get some insight in where Ray Shuro's mindset was yesterday. Look, it's well documented that the Devils have a lot of talent, on this squad, and on paper, they look very, very good. Shuro making the changes, he said yesterday that it was just pretty much the execution of it, and I couldn't agree with more. Last night I was thinking, during the game, watching, the Devils play the first two periods, which they outshot the Vegas Golden Knights, and then the Golden Knights came back. Mackenzie Blackwood, for example, gave up a softie. He shouldn't have given up that goal. The first goal that Vegas scored to tie the game. That type of stuff is lack of execution, and it all stems from a lack of focus. And I've said this many times on the podcasts, both State of the Fan and the Let's Go Devils podcast. And I feel like it comes from the top. Matt Jr. said Naz had no time to practice. Obviously, he was just thrown in the fire. It was kind of expected, but still, when it happens, it happens. He was thrown in the fire. We're not going to hold that against him. There's still an outside chance that interim tag would be pulled from the head coaching position. He's got to earn that, just like how he's earned everything he's gotten through his time in the NHL as a player and moving up the coaching ranks. To be fair to him, we shouldn't, as fans, say, this is just only going to get worse. He's been there for a while. How are we improving? Look, if it's true that Ray Shuro's assessment, this is a matter of execution, and the team on the ice has the talent and the talent to win games and not blow it. Well, there goes, just plays into my argument that this is a lack of focus, and it really starts from the top. I mean, I know this may sound petty and little, but I see the players on social media doing a lot of things, but the one thing I don't see them doing on the ice is winning. And just last night's game was epitome of what's been really, going on. Tim Clark Callahan, our resident unofficial, actually, I'll make him official statistician. Sam, our superstar PK Subban, 0 points in 15 games. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. And what the team needs to do is they need to reassess and find out who they are, what they're doing. They need to start getting back to basics. You see, it's just the little things that just, is annoying, when they have, when they win the game and, the players amongst themselves, either it was a helmet or a jacket, whoever, was the player of the game that they would win. But you know what? They should start putting more emphasis instead of like, the fantasy hockey stats, like rewarding players for doing the little things right that's not showing up on the stat sheet. I mean, their defense at times looked decent, and then at other times they look terrible. Absolutely terrible. They need to be, their positioning at times looks so awful, like they're so out of position, and they need to get back to basics. They need to first have that winning mindset, and I said that in the last Woo report that they need laser focus. These are things that are actually correctable, but it has to come from top. It has to come from the top of management, even beyond Ray Shero, because honestly, there's no culture. There's no winning culture here. Look at what Lou Lamoriello has done on Long Island. They lost their best franchise player in the beginning, yet they still made the playoffs and made it to the second round after sweeping the first round, and even, technically got ahead. It did better than the Toronto Maple Leafs. And right now, the Devils are lost. They're lost. They're not focused. And if Nasreddine is able to resurrect this team, he's got to get them focused on the little things that win games and the full 60 minutes plus overtime and shootout if needed. And I think that is the Devils' problem. It's not, Ray Shero actually put together a great team, but you can't really pinpoint, as what he said in his press conference, one player or one, thing that's gone wrong. Everything has gone wrong, and nobody has lived up to their talent. Now, I will say though, Nico Hischier, something about him, when he scored that goal after the Devils were down 4-2, immediately scored that goal, and of course scoring that lone goal against Buffalo. You know what? To me, as a fan, nobody told him to give up. He kept on going. And you know what? The Devils, his teammates need to follow his lead. Nico Hischier is a leader. I like him. I like his commitment to the organization. I like the fact that he did not drag out contract negotiations. No, he signed a 7-year deal. He's staying put in New Jersey. That's commitment. And then after signing that big contract as a young player, he's still going. And that's what the kind of winning culture the Devils need right now. I know the players are frustrated. I know that they're confused. But Nasreddine, here is your chance. If you want to be a full-time head coach of the New Jersey Devils, you got to turn around the mindset. You got to get the players working harder, attention to more details, the little things, and start playing players that are executing their assignments. Remember the days of John Madden, Jay Pandolfo, or better yet, Sergey Brylin? Guys that didn't really care about the stat sheet other than the W. What's better for the team? Blocking shots. Remember Madden's eye and cut during the 2003 Stanley Cup playoffs and still going? or Che Bandolfo always sacrificing his body to block the puck, the screaming puck from the point, while on the penalty kill. That's what the Devils need to be doing, and they need to get feisty and chippy. And I liked that chippiness in the first two periods of last night. They need to do more of that. They need to play with more conviction and heart like they did in the first two periods. The third period, there was a lapse. They took the foot off the gas pedal. And that, my friends, is a lack of execution right there. And I think Ray Shero got it right. And I'm glad that Ray Shero spoke yesterday, because as a fan, from a fan standpoint, you don't know what's going on through his head. Because to us, we've been calling Hines' name for a very long time to be fired. But in reality, it's very hard to fire your own colleague and friend, the person that you brought in when you first came into New Jersey to rebuild this franchise from the ground up. And, they went through some difficult moments. They had some great moments of making the playoffs. But in the end, John Hines didn't get it done, and he was the fall guy. And I know the players probably feel guilty about it. But at the same time, I still believe that it goes beyond John Hines and Ray Shero. It comes from the Devils management. They need to have that winning culture, that laser focus. I understand it's a business and you need to make money. That's fine and dandy. But the reason why fans come to these games, yes, they love their Devils. They want to see the Devils win. And you know what? The optics don't look good when you see some of these pictures on social media while the team is losing, that the players are having fun doing other things. And I'm all for that. But honestly, as a fan, a paying fan, I don't want to see that. I want to see them back in the gym. I want to see them back on practice ice, working their butts off. That's what champions do. That's the sacrifice you make to make yourself better. The common hockey player doing uncommon things, making a name for themselves, but also winning for their team and doing everything they can to better the team, to better the franchise. And that, my friends, is that brotherhood that they were trying to strive for. I feel bad for John Hines. I really do. And yes, he took a lot of the blame, and some of it deservingly, but some of it not. I feel bad for his family because they've really committed themselves to New Jersey, and there's been some real tough times. But we have to move on. And you know what? We need to also give Alain Nasreddine a chance to turn this thing around. It's not going to happen overnight. Forget about the season. Let's start with the first practice. Let's start with the first shift and start there and start building that laser focus, doing the right things, the better habits, so we can win games together, both players, organization, and the fan standpoint. Mike Rossi writes, the Devils need a Pat Burns type of coach. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But they need something. They need a group effort to combat just some of just these lapses. I mean, if you think about it, they're not that far off. I mean, in order to blow a lead, you need to have the lead first. Well, they've had the lead, but then again, the last two games leading up to John Hines' firing, they were getting shell-shocked and blown out 4-0 in your own building against the Rangers, and then turn around and lose 7-1 in Buffalo. That's inexcusable. And unfortunately for John Hines, it was time for him to go. Unfortunately. But right now we have to look forward as Devils fans to the future, and right now we're going to have to take it one day at a time. Focus, refocus. Start focusing on the little things that helps execute the game plan. What is the game plan? Well, they need to play better defensively. Heck, they need to play better overall. Let's do that, and let's do that now. Well, that concludes the Woo Report today. I want to thank everybody for joining in this midday afternoon. We're going to have a podcast tonight, State of the Fan Address with me and Nick Villano, 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. We're going to be talking about Nazarene and a whole host of things on the podcast here on the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network. But also, don't forget, we have a live event, Let's Go Devils Podcast, this Saturday in Rockaway, New Jersey at Tavern on the Rocks. Grant Marshall, Colin White will be there. Yeah, I'll be there. Come join us. 6:30 pregame podcast viewing party with Grant Marshall and Colin White. Should be fun. Yeah. All right, everybody. See you at 9 p.m. Eastern. This is the Woo Report. Till next time, Devils fans. Let's go Devils.